This is the true story of the Smalls Lighthouse tragedy of 1801. Thomas Howell and Thomas Griffith despised each other, so when fate plotted to bring them together in the dungeon-like confines of the Smalls Lighthouse, only one would survive to tell the tale. The Smalls are a random collection of basalt rocks protruding from an otherwise desolate area of the Irish Sea. It's located about 10 miles west off the coast of Wales. The original lighthouse was built in 1776 by Henry Whiteside, and instead of using a regular stone structure, he built his lighthouse upon 9 large oak pillars that allowed the sea to pass through them. And on top of the pillar was a small cabin that he built for the keepers. It was about 5 meters in diameter. It was known for shifting and swaying as the terrible storms and waves passed through. Known for its extreme isolation, Whitehouse would test this theory in 1777. While visiting the outpost, he would become stranded as gale force winds battered the cabin. After about a month with no rescue, his hope was starting to fade, so he decided to put a message in a bottle, place it in a coffin, and cast it out to sea, hoping that somebody would find it ashore and come save him. It just so happened that luck was on his side, as the casket washed ashore nearly at the doorstep of the person he addressed the letter to. He would be rescued just 2 days later. The Smalls Lighthouse would go on to make maritime history for 2 noteworthy events. The first one, and the most recognized, is in 1837 when Thomas Hubbard Sumner discovered the concept of celestial position lines, also known as the circle of equal altitude, which is the basis for modern celestial navigation today. The second one is the Smalls Lighthouse tragedy. This tragedy forever changed the way lighthouse crews were assigned. Taking into account their hatred for each other, no one understands why these 2 lighthouse keepers, Thomas Griffin and Thomas Howell, were partnered together at the Smalls Lighthouse. But in 1801, that's exactly what happened. But it didn't take long for things to go terribly wrong. Shortly after their arrival at the lighthouse, Griffith became terribly ill. Howell did his best to care for him, but his sickness only worsened. As a result, Howell lit the lighthouse distress beacon, but that year, the Irish Sea's gale force winds were fiercer than normal, so if a passing by ship saw the beacon, they couldn't get to them to render aid anyway, as the storms prevented them from being able to land the ships. As the days passed and no one came to their aid, Griffith would lose his life, and Howell, given the public perception of their relationship, decided not to commit the body to sea. Instead, he preserved it as evidence in case he was accused of murdering his partner. Fortunately, the storms continued, so the light beacon went unanswered. The cabin was swaying back and forth with the battering waves. Thomas Griffith began to rot. Silent body and slow decay proved to be too much for Howell. He felt the corpse was staring at him, watching his every move, begging the question, "Why didn't you save me? Why didn't you save me?" After about a month or so, Howell had had enough. He decided to build a casket out of the cabin's walls. And with enormous effort, he was able to hoist Griffith's body into the casket and put it outside, tying it to one of the lighthouse legs. As gale force winds continued to batter and beat the lighthouse, the beacon burned in vain. Eventually, Thomas Griffith's coffin began to fall apart. Howell would try to make repairs to the coffin, but simply lacked the resources. Eventually, Griffith's arm would break free of the coffin, flailing in the wind, batting the lighthouse window over and over again. To Howell, it looked like the hand that now consisted of rotting, decayed flesh was beckoning him to come outside and join him. The rapping continued for weeks. Howell sat in silence, imagining Griffith's voice and laughter echoing among the winds. It seemed as though the hand had some sort of undead life, gesturing and moving to and fro with the storm. How long Howell was alone with Griffith's corpse is unknown. Weeks, possibly months. Passing by ships reported that the beacon was lit, but they were unable to assist because of the storms. What's more disturbing is ships also reported seeing somebody standing outside the lighthouse, possibly signaling for help. And this could have only been Griffith's corpse, as the coffin was now pretty much non-existent. Upon his rescue, Thomas Howell was unrecognizable to his friends. By most accounts, he was driven mad by the experience. As a result of the Smalls Lighthouse tragedy, it was decided that no less than 3 men would be assigned to lighthouse duty at a time, and this stood until the 1980s, when lighthouses became automated. What up, my night guide people? Hope y'all are doing well. So that was just a quick story that I found interesting. It's kind of out of my wheelhouse as far as content goes, but either way, it had a creepy side to it, and it was just a cool story overall. So I hope you enjoyed it. Moving forward, I'm going to be getting back to my original niche or genre. I have a few stories on deck, and I also have a particular story on deck, or not necessarily, it is a story, but it has more to do with like religion-esque, God or gods, something that I feel a lot of people haven't really heard, and they need to. Something that they need to hear. So stay tuned for that. It's really interesting. Also, to add to that, my boy, his grandfather, told some more interesting stories that I thought we all should hear. Really cool stuff. Has to do with the Lady Guadalupe, Tonantzin, and more or less his version of the history that took place with the conquistadors arriving in Mexico and what really happened, per his source or his grandfather's side of things. It's really interesting. I think it's a good perspective. I think we all need to keep an open mind and hear it out, because to be honest and to be frank, it seems to make more sense than what I know or what I thought I knew. So, and it's not only that, it gets much more in depth. For example, we talked about how his grandfather basically has a story for how the pyramids were made, right? Really interesting stuff. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, it's amazing info. Whether it be true or not, who knows? Why couldn't it be? So, really interesting stuff coming up. I'm going to be going back live too, guys. No worries. I more or less, if you didn't know, just got monetized on Facebook. So, I've been really working hard to kind of catch up on that side of things. Make sure that I have all the videos I have posted on YouTube, on Facebook, because it's just another avenue for profit, so or revenue. So, and it's making a big difference. It's a game changer for me. So I'm super pumped about that. So I had to give that time as well, because they pay pretty well too, as far as comparing to YouTube. They're right with them. So I wanted to make sure I put in the proper amount of time to that and getting monetized. It took a lot of work, a lot of communications, appeals, decisions, view decisions, all kinds of different stuff. So it kept me occupied, more or less. That's why you haven't seen me going live. Just so y'all know, because I've seen a few comments out there asking what happened to the lives, why aren't you going live anymore? I promise you guys, I will be back live, okay? I will be back live. It's just a matter of time. And also, after I got monetized on Facebook, I took kind of a little hiatus because it was a big time accomplishment for me. So I kind of rewarded myself, got to more or less modify. I decided to put some mods on that and upgrade it. So that's kind of what I've been doing in my spare time, kind of to reward myself, I guess. That's like the only thing I bought myself. So, and I really enjoy modding it and doing it all myself. So kind of take pride in that. So that's kind of what I've been doing. just so y'all know, I don't want you guys to worry. I'm going to continue to go live. I love going live. So I appreciate you guys. I love you all. Appreciate the help, and I appreciate the love, man. You guys have been awesome, and it's been a hell of a ride. It's been a crazy experience. And yeah, it's only going to continue to go up from here. I will be live maybe tonight, but maybe not. If not tonight, tomorrow night for sure, I'll be live. All right, fam? So I will see you then. And I guess that is Night God. I am out.